Well, you are listening to us this morning from Tumbler Ridge at 89.9 FM. An avalanche near Tumbler Ridge has claimed the life of one person. At the time, the victim was snowmobiling with a group of people. Ryan Shelley was teaching an avalanche course in the area when the avalanche occurred. He's the owner of Summit Avalanche Consulting, and he joins me on the line this morning. Hi, Ryan.
Good morning.
You were about 1 kilometer away from the avalanche when it happened. When did you know something was wrong?
Yeah, well, snow is it absorbs a lot of noise, even though avalanches tend to be quite loud when you are in the backcountry and in the mountains, especially in a winter setting. Although it's noisy, we did not hear anything at the time. It happened around 2 in the afternoon, from what I understand. However, I did not get wind of it until I had brought my group back, my clients back to the parking lot area, the staging area, and we saw an RCMP vehicle interviewing a snowmobiler.
How troubling was it for you to realize that there had not only been an avalanche close to where you had been snowmobiling, but a deadly one at that?
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly troubling, just seeing the witness to the scene. I'm a level 2 avalanche professional with the Canadian Avalanche Association, so I teach courses, and there are ways to travel safely in the mountains. As you know, I was teaching my students all about that on Sunday. However, it was particularly troubling because we learned that they were in a complex piece of terrain that required some very you'd have to negotiate some pretty dangerous areas in order to just to access that location.
So where you were 1 kilometer away was not as dangerous in terms of avalanche?
Correct. Yeah, we were in an area below tree line, spending a decent amount of time off of our snowmobiles, learning how to use rescue gear, and just learning how to effectively travel and through the mountains and use terrain effectively to mitigate our avalanche exposure. And this area where the avalanche occurred was in an area known as in the industry as complex terrain. Essentially, an area should an avalanche occur, it has all the part and parcels of avalanche formation: big steep slope, no trees for protection, if a large and a large slope at that. So if snow started moving, it would entrain a lot of snow along with it and create a larger scale avalanche, which was certainly the case.
Do you think that the snowmobilers knew that they were in this complex terrain, as you put it?
I've been teaching avalanche courses up here for about 5 years, and I have taught hundreds of snowmobilers and literally educated hundreds of them. So some do. And there's still outreach going on within Avalanche Canada to try and educate additional people. We also have a unique issue of not having a formal avalanche bulletin in our region. And so that is challenging because essentially people, and as I teach my clients, I basically try to teach them and prep them for making appropriate decisions based on current conditions themselves, because they don't have a formal bulletin that they can go online to and find out how hazardous or how safe it is on that given weekend, that given season, if you will.
Ryan, how important do you think it is that there be an avalanche bulletin for the Tumbler Ridge area, given the popularity of snowmobiling?
Crucial. There is, interestingly enough, there's a meeting being held today in Kamloops. Unfortunately, I couldn't attend. However, all the major stakeholders in the snowmobile industry, BC government stakeholders and Avalanche Canada execs are all in attendance, and hopefully tabling a solution today to our unique problem of no avalanche bulletin. We have, on any given weekend, 1,000+ people or so out riding in the backcountry in avalanche terrain, and we've had our fair share of near misses this season, and unfortunately this one fatality on this. Just alone in this weekend, we've had 5 since Friday, 5 confirmed avalanche burials with the one fatality. So that's,
And I imagine that part of the reason for the avalanche issue this year has to do with the warming and cooling trend. Should people be out there at all?
Yes, absolutely. With unpredictable temperamental weather, it can also create a somewhat unpredictable temperamental snowpack, and that absolutely hit it right on the head. That's absolutely the type of conditions we're dealing with. Snowmobiling in the mountains is very safe, and you can do it quite safely, even in conditions such as these as we're having this year. I've been out riding. I've put 1,000 kilometers of mountain riding on my snowmobile this winter, and I've never had a single incident. But I am very conservative and cautious in my route selection choices. I don't tend to recreate on large exposed slopes because that really increases my hazard, my risk, and I'm not that tolerant to risk as I get older. So I'd like to play it safe, and a lot of people do. And
Ryan, just before I let you go here, if somebody is out snowmobiling, if they are caught in an avalanche, what should the first response be?
As a rider caught in an avalanche, if you can, scream out, avalanche, or hopefully the witness is nearby. Scream out avalanche just to alert everyone to what is actually taking place. Now, when snowmobiles are running, that may be difficult. First things first, if you have an avalanche airbag, you should pull your avalanche airbag. We had an incident this weekend where the person who was buried did not pull it. So that is very important. You have the gear, use it. In addition, get away from your snowmobile. Your snowmobile is now a hazard to yourself. Should it strike you as you are being dragged through the snow, you could suffer trauma or something like that. So you want to get away from your snowmobile and then essentially fight, punch, kick. Do your best to stay towards the surface of the snow so that when the snow stops moving, you're closer to the surface, if not at the surface. And so, that will facilitate digging you out.
Well, Ryan, really appreciate your thoughts today. We'll keep an eye on what happens out of that Kamloops meeting a little bit later today. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you very much. Have a good day yourself.
Ryan Shelley is owner of the Summit Avalanche Consulting, and he was mentioning a meeting happening today and talk about the need for avalanche bulletins for the region, the Tumbler Ridge region. An avalanche near Tumbler Ridge did claim the life of one person. We turn it to you now. How do you keep safe when you're out snowmobiling or snowshoeing? Maybe snowboarding as well, or skiing? Any essential items you don't leave home without, you can let us know by emailing us, daybreaknorth@cbc.ca, or call us 1-866-340-1932.